Hello, welcome. Welcome to our 12th video in our series Getting Started with AutoCAD, our 12th video and our last video. And what we're going to be covering in this video is getting our drawing to the point where we can print this out in CAD lab computers, CAD lab printers. So if you remember, just a short recap of what we've done through this series. We've taken a basic AutoCAD template with a title block. We modified that title block to our needs. And we drew a model in the background. We drafted a CMU block, or something that resembles a CMU block, and we put that into our drawing. The way we did that, and this is a concept that you need to know for your test, the concept here is that we draw everything in model space at full size. So the CMU block is 60 inches by 8 inches, exceeds the size of an 8.5 by 11 inch piece of paper. And the other part of that concept is in paper space we always draw things at a 1-to-1 scale. We never scale it, so it's always scaled at 1-to-1. The interface between model space and paper space is this viewport window, this blue window that's set up in AutoCAD. And what we do is we scale that window up or down by a specific scale amount, and that allows our object in model space to fit onto our piece of paper. So that's what we've done. We have scaled our viewport so that the CMU fits in the page. You put the dimensions on it. We scale those dimensions up by the scale factor. And now we're at the point right now where we're going to go ahead and make modifications to our title block and then print this out. Before we do this, it's important to do this. We want to make sure our model is centered. So let's go to the Home tab and go to the Move button. We want to move our viewport. If you select the viewport and go to the Move button, what you want to do is you want to move your model, your drafted item, somewhere close to the middle of the page. It might take a couple iterations to do that. But the desire here is to try to make the white space on top of the space on the top equal to the space on the bottom, as well as the space on the right is going to be equal to the space on the left. That way it looks visually appealing, and again with the ultimate concept that an attractive drawing, a drawing that's easily laid out and easy to read, is going to be easy to be interpreted by the person who's going to be ultimately looking at your drawing and building your project. Next step, let's modify our title block. If you click in the title block and go to the Insert tab like we've done before, we're going to go to the block editor, and we're going to go ahead and edit that. There are some things that are going to be consistent from project to project and from page to page, from sheet to sheet. So one of those items in regard to the project to project items that aren't going to change on every sheet is going to be our company name. So Enterprise Design and Innovations, which is what I call my company, that's going to stay the same. But the project name is going to change. Project name is just kind of a placeholder right now. So we're going to click on top of that, and we're going to go ahead and change that. So instead of project name, we're going to call that Concrete Masonry Unit. And you need to make sure that that when you type in your name in here and just about everything you put into the title block, everything is capitalized. Without exception, everything is capitalized. We're not going to change the text up here, as I mentioned before, just because it's already there, but everything you enter in AutoCAD and in Revit later is going to be capitalized. So the project name is going to change, project number, we can probably keep that the same. Just as a matter of habit, though, that would change. Every time you have a new project, you have a new project number. To date, let's go ahead and update our date to today's date. That's going to change in our scale. Remember what the scale was? Now this is the scale for the viewport, but do you remember what the scale was? The scale was 3 inches equal to 1 foot. It works out to a 1-to-4 scale. What that means is that we scaled our cinder block down, our CMU down to 1/4 of its original size. And because of that, just to review, we scaled our dimensions up by 4 times after we've done that in order for the dimensions to appear the same and consistent from drawing to drawing. But yes, scale is 3 inches equal to 1 foot. Sheet number. Just again, a habit in architectural drawings, you have more than one drawings, you always have sheet numbers on them so they can be ordered, and you can manipulate that order as needed. But it's good practice. We only have one sheet here, so we're going to call that sheet number 1. But it's always good practice to get in the practice of doing that and make sure that you do change that sheet number. So instead of making that sheet number 1 the same text size, let's make that a little bit bolder, a little bit bigger. We're going to make that 3/8 of an inch. So if you go up to the Annotate tab where we're entering that text, if you go up to the upper left-hand corner, we're going to type in 3 divided by 8 for that text size, and that's going to make that nice and big and bold and easy to read. Okay, I think we're done. Close our block editor. And yes, we want to save changes to it. Let's go ahead and print it. Let's go to the Application menu where the big A is. Scroll down, go to Print. And we're going to start from the top. We're not going to make any changes here. Although if you do want to adapt the printer centers from a previous print, you could do that simply by opening it up and go to previous plot. We'll cover that a little bit more in class. But the printer name, my printer name is going to be HP 1215. Yours is going to be a little bit different in the lab. So I'm going to select that, but in the lab it's either going to be the 4015 or the 6015. 4015 will print out 8.5 by 11. The 6015 will do 8.5 and 11 and 11 by 17 A and B size paper. So by preference here, it's probably going to be the 4015. It's a printer that's less used and better suited for the drawings that we're going to be printing out in AutoCAD, which are going to be specifically just 8.5 by 11s for now. So choose the proper printer. Paper size, you want to make sure it's letter. Extents, that's not going to change. We're going to print to extents. But we do want to change this from when we did our page setup manager. We want to make sure that we do center the plot. This way our title block will center right in the middle of the page. And again, paper space is always printed a 1-to-1 scale. Go to preview and see what it looks like. Which looks okay. The center block is, or the CMU is kind of in the middle of the page. But there's one thing that kind of looks kind of bad, and that is it's going to print out our viewport. We don't want it to do that. So let's escape out of this. Press the escape button and go to cancel. Now let's go to our go to the home tab and go to our layers manager, our layer properties. And we're going to change that. If you go down to the viewport layer, highlight that, scroll over to the printer. If you click on that printer icon and click on that, you'll notice you'll get a kind of a red circle with a slash through it. It's very teeny tiny on this screen. But if you do that, it will not print. And let me show you the consequences of that. Go to X that out. Let's go back to our settings again. Let's go to the application menu. Go back to the print settings. Again, choose your printer, which is going to be the 1215 printer. Letter size, print to extents, center the plot, scale is 1-to-1. Go to preview. And now you'll notice that, go to preview, now you'll notice that the viewport is gone. And that's exactly what we want. And when you're ready to print, go to the print button up in the upper left hand corner, and it's ready to go. It's important to do the print preview because you don't want to waste paper. You're going to be charged for that paper ultimately. So make sure you're efficient with your paper usage here in the lab. And that should be it. Once you're done printing, it's ready to go. Thank you for joining me. And join me for future videos.